Hi, so today we're going to be looking at solving one and two-step equations. We're going to start with solving one-step equations, and what that means when it says one step, it means that there's only one operation going on in the equation. Then we're going to move on to solving two-step equations, and again, that would just mean that it's a problem that has two equations that we need to get rid of first. So to solve equations, you need to isolate the variable by using the opposite operation. What that means, when it says isolate the variable, it means I want to get the variable or the letter all by itself on one side of the equal sign. I want to get everything that's with it away from it. And the way we get everything away is by doing the opposite operation. So if the problem is adding, we subtract. If the problem is dividing, we multiply. So we do the opposite operation. So here's a problem that's worked out for us to take a look at. I've got x plus 7 equals 23. It's a one-step equation because the only thing I have to do is add. Well, to get rid of adding, we subtract. So I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So as you can see right here, in this step, I am subtracting 7 from both sides. Well, when I do 7 minus 7, it gets rid of it, leaving me x all by itself, which is what my plan was to get x all by itself. Then I would do 23 minus 7, which is 16. So x equals 16. And that is our answer. Now the great thing about this is that I can actually check my answers. There is no reason you should ever miss any question when it comes to solving equations because you can always check your answer. And the way we check our answer is we take what we get, and in this case we get 16, we go back to the original equation and we plug it in for x. So I would do 16 plus 7. I'm sorry about the pen there. Well, 16 plus 7 equals 23, which is what it says it should equal. So you just ignore that answer. You plug in what you get, solve it, and see if you get the right answer. And if you do, you know your answer's right. And if you don't, it means something's wrong. Go back and take a look at it again. So let's try on our own. All of these are one-step equations. It has one operation. One thing I do like to do, and it's just a quirky thing that I do, you by all means don't have to do it, but I like to go ahead and split my equation in half. That means whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. And I'm trying to get p all by itself, meaning I need to get rid of the minus 6. Well, the way I get rid of the minus 6 is by doing the opposite of minus 6, which would be plus 6. So I'm adding 6 to both sides. That gets my 6 gone, leaving me p on one side of the equation. And then over here I've got a negative 5 plus 6. Well, negative 5 plus 6 is a positive 1. Well, let's go back and check that. If I plug in 1 for p, I would do 1 minus 6. Well, 1 minus 6 turns into 1 plus a negative 6, which is a negative 5, which is what I'm supposed to get. So I do know that my answer, p equals 1, is correct. Okay, let's go right below. I've got n plus 16 equals 9. I'm going to do the opposite of plus 16, which would be minus 16. So when I do minus 16, plus 16 minus 16, that cancels out, leaving me with just n. That's what I needed to do here. And then we'll end up doing 9 minus 16, which would be a negative 7. Let's double check that answer. So we would do negative 7 plus 16. Well, negative 7 plus 16 is 9, which is what I was supposed to get. So we know my answer is right. All right, let's go up to the top right corner. So this time my variable's on the other side. That's not a big deal at all. We will divide each side by 8. Well, 8 divided by 8 is 1. That cancels out, leaving me just 6 on the other side. And now I just need to do a negative 104 divided by 8, which is 13. Now you do have to make sure you've got a negative divided by a positive. Your signs are different, so your answer is negative. Again, let's go back and check. So I would do 8 times a negative 13, and you can work that out. It is 104, and it is negative. So yes, we are correct again. And this last one here. So I want to get b by itself. That means I need to get rid of this 18. So the way I get rid of a dividing 18 is by multiplying each side by 18. Well, when I do an 18 times, right here, those cancel each other out, leaving me with just plain b. And then I need to do 18 times 6, which is 108. And since, again, I've got a positive times a negative, so my answer is negative. And you can go back and check. We are correct. So that's solving one-step equations. Let's look at solving two now. When you do two-step equations, you've got to make sure you do the right one first. It does matter. Just like order of operations, it matters. When there is more than one operation, not just two, but 3, 4, 5, however many it gives us, you always get rid of what is furthest from the variable first. Okay, furthest and goes first. So if you take a look at this example, it says 2x minus 2 equals 8. So the two operations I have here is multiplying and subtraction. That's why it's a two-step equation. And what is further from the variable? Well, this 2 is furthest from the variable, so I'm going to get rid of it first. Well, how do we get rid of a minus 2? That's right here. We add 2 to both sides. So now I've got 2x equals 10 right down here. Now to get rid of the 2, since it's multiplying, I'm going to divide. I divide each side, and so x equals 5. And same thing, you'll plug it in and check. Well, 2 times 5 is 10. 10 minus 2 is 8. I am correct. I've got it right. Let's try. All right, so again, I do a line at my equal sign. That's just a quirky thing I do. I like to have everything there. So I'm going to do what's further from the variable first. Well, the further thing that's from the variable is that 7. Well, the way I get rid of a minus 7 is I do a plus 7 on both sides. That gets rid of this, and I'm left with 9x equals, well, negative 7 plus 7 is 0. Now I'm going to divide each side by 9. Well, 0 divided by 9 is still just plain 0. Let's double check our answer. Plug that in. 9 times 0 is 0. 0 minus 7 is a negative 7. It does check out. All right, let's go right below. Furthest from the variable. So we're going to do plus 5. We add 5 to both sides. That gets rid of that 5. Well, a negative 4 plus a positive 5 is 1. And I still have the r divided by 20. How are we going to get rid of divide by 20? By multiplying by 20. That gets rid of my 20s on this side, leaving me with r, and 1 times 20 is 20. Let's double check our answer. Let's plug that in. 20 divided by 20 is 1. 1 minus 5 is a negative 4. Checks out. We're good. Furthest from the variable first. What's furthest from the variable here is the 3. So I'm going to multiply each side by 3 first. That gets rid of that, leaving me with 9 plus v, and 8 times 3 is 24. Now I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. So v equals, v equals 15. Let's plug that in. 15 plus 9 is 24. 24 divided by 3 is 8. We are right. All right, let's do this last one. Furthest from the variable, meaning a minus 1. So I'm subtracting 1. That gets rid of this, so I'm left with 9x, negative 9x, and negative 80 minus 1 is a negative 81. Divide by 9, divide by 9. Those are negatives. So x equals a positive 9. Let's check our answer. Negative 9 times a positive 9 is a negative 81. Negative 81 plus 1 is a negative 80. We are correct. Go slow. Furthest from the variable first. Check your answer. Good luck, you guys.